What if I told you that some of the most astonishing structures on Earth are not in distant lands, but right here in India? And what if I told you that even today, historians, engineers, and scientists still don't fully understand how they were built? Not partially, not vaguely, but truly, completely. Because when you look closely, when you stop seeing them as tourist sites and start seeing them as puzzles, something doesn't add up. This is not just history. This is hidden history India. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let me take you somewhere first, not physically, but mentally. Imagine you're standing in front of a massive mountain, solid rock, unbreakable, immovable. Now imagine someone tells you that instead of building a temple there, someone carved the entire temple out of that mountain. Not by assembling stones, not by stacking blocks, but by removing everything that didn't belong. You'd probably smile and say that's impossible until you see it. The Kailasa Temple is not just a temple, it's a statement. A statement that challenges everything we think we know about ancient construction, because this structure wasn't built from the ground up. It was carved from the top down, from a single rock. Pause for a moment and really understand what that means. When you build something normally, you can correct mistakes, replace stones, adjust things. But when you carve downward into solid rock, one wrong cut and everything is ruined. There is no going back, no fixing, no second chance. And yet, this temple is not just standing. It is perfect, symmetrical, detailed, and balanced. It is estimated that over 200,000 tons of rock were removed to create this structure. Think about that. Without modern cranes, without drills, without machines. Now imagine the planning required. Every pillar, every sculpture, every dimension had to be imagined before a single cut was made. That's not construction, that's precision on a level that feels almost unnatural. Even today, engineers debate how this was achieved so accurately. Some say it took generations. Others suggest highly skilled labor forces working for decades. But here's the uncomfortable question. Why does it feel like they weren't learning, but executing? Because the Kailasa Temple doesn't look like a first attempt. It looks like the final version, like something perfected before it was ever built. Now, let's move away from something massive to something subtle, something that doesn't scream for attention, but quietly disturbs logic. In Andhra Pradesh, there's a temple that most people visit without noticing what makes it extraordinary. The Lepakshi Temple at first glance seems like a normal temple, beautiful but not impossible, until you notice something strange. One pillar that doesn't touch the ground. Not slightly raised, not broken, but completely suspended. You can slide a cloth underneath it, and people still do, as if testing reality itself. Now think about that. A stone pillar, part of a heavy structure, not supporting weight, yet the building remains perfectly stable. Engineers have tried to explain it. Some say it's clever load distribution. Others believe hidden balancing techniques are involved. But here's where it gets interesting. During the colonial period, engineers tried to fix the pillar, assuming it was an error. But when they attempted to adjust it, the structure began to shift and cracks appeared. They stopped immediately, almost as if the temple responded, as if it was saying, "You don't understand this." And that's what makes it unsettling, because we're not just looking at architecture, we're looking at knowledge. Knowledge that doesn't fully align with what we think ancient builders were capable of. Now hold on to that feeling, because we're about to go deeper. Let's leave the land and move beneath the ocean. Off the coast of Gujarat lies a mystery that blurs the line between mythology and reality, the submerged city of Dwarka. For thousands of years, ancient Indian texts spoke of a grand city, a place of advanced planning, magnificent structures, and a thriving civilization. And then it vanished, submerged beneath the sea. For a long time, historians dismissed it as myth, just another story, a symbolic narrative, until divers went down. What they found changed everything. Stone structures, grids, foundations, artifacts that didn't appear random or natural. They appeared organized. Some estimates suggested these structures could be incredibly old, possibly dating back far beyond expected timelines. Now imagine this, a city described in ancient texts found underwater. What are the chances? Coincidence or memory? Because if Dwarka was real, then what else in those texts might also be real? And suddenly, the narrative begins to shift. Now step back and look at all three. The Kailasa Temple, a mountain carved into perfection. The Lepakshi Temple, a pillar that defies structural logic. And Dwarka, a city swallowed by the sea, yet remembered. These are not isolated mysteries. They are connected by a pattern of advanced knowledge appearing suddenly without clear origin, without gradual evolution. And that's where things become uncomfortable. Because history tells us that civilization develops slowly, step by step, from simple tools to complex societies. But these sites don't follow that rule. They don't feel like progress. They feel like remnants. Remnants of something that already existed. Something that may have been lost. Think about it this way. If a highly advanced civilization existed thousands of years ago and something wiped it out, what would remain? Not everything. Not easily. Time destroys most things, but stone survives. Especially when carved into mountains, or submerged underwater, or hidden in plain sight. Time erases most things, but not all, and maybe that's exactly what we're seeing. Fragments, clues, echoes. This is why ancient megalithic sites are so important, because they don't just show us what was built, they hint at what was known, and sometimes what was forgotten. Ancient Indian traditions speak about cycles, not a straight line of progress, but repeating phases. Creation, destruction, rebirth, again and again. What if that isn't just philosophy? What if it's memory? Because at the end of the last ice age, sea levels rose dramatically. Entire coastlines disappeared, and any civilization near those regions would have been wiped out completely, leaving behind almost no trace except stories. Stories passed down through generations. Stories that slowly transformed into myths. But what if those myths are actually distorted history? Because Dwarka wasn't just imagined, it was described and then found. And that changes everything. Now go back to Kailasa. What if the builders inherited knowledge, not discovered it for the first time, but continued something older? What if Lepakshi's pillar is not an anomaly, but a glimpse into a lost engineering principle, one that we haven't fully rediscovered yet? Because here's something we rarely question. We assume we are the most advanced humans have ever been. But what if that's not true? What if history doesn't always move forward? What if sometimes it resets? Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, knowledge is lost, and the next generation starts again. Trying to rebuild, trying to understand, trying to explain what remains. Calling it divine, calling it mysterious, calling it impossible. This is the essence of Hidden History India. It's not about rejecting science, it's about questioning gaps. Because real curiosity doesn't ignore mystery, it follows it. And the deeper we go, the more questions we find. Who built these structures? How did they achieve such precision? Why does their knowledge feel advanced? And most importantly, what came before them? Because if even one of these sites truly challenges our understanding, then our entire timeline needs rethinking. Not rewriting completely, but expanding. Opening the possibility that we are not looking at the beginning. We are looking at the aftermath of something older, something forgotten. So the next time you see a temple, don't just see stone. See intention, see knowledge, see questions. Because somewhere within these structures, India may be holding secrets of a civilization that history has not fully remembered. And maybe, just maybe, we are not discovering the past. We are rediscovering it, piece by piece, clue by clue. Until one day, the full picture emerges. And when it does, it may not just change history. It may change how we see ourselves.